All right, guys, welcome back to another video. I'm Jacoby, and I'm here with my boy Nacho. What's good, bro?
What's up, brother?
Happy to have you. Yeah, Nacho was one of my first students actually inside of Closer Cohort. And yeah, bro, why don't you just introduce yourself a little bit to the people? Tell a little bit kind of about like where you were before you found me and just like, yeah, your whole journey up until now.
So, yeah, I met Jacoby like a few years back online.
Yeah.
I'm originally from Spain, and yeah, I've been wanting to get into like online business for a while. And I've looked into a lot of models like agency, e-com, and then when I was about to get back into drop shipping, that's where I found Jacoby through a community that I was in, and I saw his podcast, and yeah, I just started following him. And then one day he starts talking about how he's making money online, working a few hours per day. And yeah, obviously caught my attention. And then he just seemed like a really honest guy. So I thought I'll just talk to him. I don't think I'm going to buy anything again because I had already bought like 3 high ticket programs that past year.
Yeah.
Then I just talked to him, and that's what he does. That's what he does. He closed me,
And now you're here with me in Cape Town.
yeah,
And
it was
we've been all over the world. We went to Bali together, and you've been traveling, and yeah, how's life now? Is it pretty good?
yeah, it's crazy. Like, literally changed my life because the difference with this, like, I had bought programs before, like courses, like even supposed mentorships, but the difference was that Jacoby just worked closely with me, and the main thing I wanted to do is just get close to him, and yeah, I think just being around his energy, seeing that it's not so much about the vehicle you choose, but more about the mindset that you develop, and just be willing to work hard, believe it's possible, and just working so closely with him helped me
That's amazing,
realize that.
bro. That's amazing. What were you doing, man? Just tell everyone, like, what were you doing before you found Closer Cohort, before you even found high ticket sales? Like, what was your life like? What were you doing? Had you looked at other like online mentorships before? What was that like?
Yeah, so I had been in sales since I got out of uni. I studied international business, and then I've I've been doing sales for quite some years, but I've done like the typical, like cold calling. Just yeah, I started selling like energy, calling people to their house in the afternoon, and then I got into startup sales and everything. But none of that gave me the freedom I was looking for. So at the point where I met Jacoby, I had just quit my full-time job at a startup.
Where were you living at the
Uh,
time?
I was in the States temporarily. I had quit my job. I was going to move to Australia and just find out what I wanted to do with my life.
Yeah.
And then I eventually followed through with it, but I met Jacoby in the meantime. So then when I got to Australia, it wasn't the place where I was supposed to be because I had already found kind of what I wanted to do, helping people like change their life. Because actually, I feel like a closer, if you're selling something ethical and it's good, you're actually doing a service to someone because you need someone to help you make that jump, like when you're jumping out of a plane, which we did together as
Well,
well.
yeah, took him skydiving for the first time as well, which is pretty sick. Well, give a little quick explanation. Like, did you know anything about high ticket sales? I know you knew a little bit about sales, but did you know anything about like the high ticket info space, internet
Yeah.
marketing space? Did you know anything about that at all before coming to me?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't. Like, I never really thought about it. I thought sales was like the traditional way. But yeah, then when I discovered this, it made sense because I had people close me before, but I never really gave it too much thought because everyone always frames themselves as being like part of the education program or being
Yeah.
like a mentor or whatever. But
How would you
everyone's
how would you describe high ticket sales like in a minute or two to somebody that knows nothing about high ticket sales and how it's different than like your traditional sales, how it's able to give you maybe the freedom to travel, like you've been able to travel with remote freedom, financial freedom. Like how would you just describe it real quickly for people that maybe don't know?
Yeah, I think the main difference in high ticket sales, the whole space, is that you are not an employee, but you are someone's partner. You're partnering up with someone and just like offering, like, look, I know how to close sales, so I'll just offer you my services and I get a commission, a cut of what I make for you. So you're just partnering up, and whatever you hunt is whatever you eat.
Yeah.
And the difference between like having a traditional sales job where doesn't really matter what you do, like your performance might change a bit up, a bit less, and you're still getting more or less the same amount of money here. Like you actually gotta work hard. Like nobody else is gonna do it for you because
Yeah.
if you don't do it first of all, they're gonna kick you off the offer. They're gonna stop working with you, and second, yeah, whatever you make is whatever
You
you
eat what you
generate is
kill.
what
You eat what you kill, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the kind of like the question people want to know is like what kind of coin were you able to make from your first offer? Like what does the deal structure look like? Like how much are you selling? You went on to eventually sell some pretty high ticket, even a $30,000 deal right before coming to Bali with me. But talk about a little bit like the money you were able to make your first couple of months. What are you doing now? Like what's your kind of revenue wise, just so people can kind of understand.
Yeah. Just to give some background on that. So when I first got started, uh, I found this software where I was making 3K a month, but honestly working like under 15 hours a week. Like I had like maybe 10, 15 calls a week, which is not the ideal offer because you want to have your schedule packed because obviously you want to be on more calls, learn more, dial in the skills. So what I was lacking at first was to get enough practice, but yeah, that's why you have mock calls and you practice with other mates. But I started making around 3K. I was there for around like 5, 6 months, and then Jacoby helped me jump onto another offer that was eco mentorship, where I was able to scale a bit. I took it to like 3, 4K, but it was still like not. I still hadn't found my place, you know. Like you're still learning the skill. It's also a lot of belief. Like if you don't believe that you can close those amount of deals, people are gonna feel it on the call. And I always had. I was
You
making-
had a lot to get over with your mindset, I think, at the beginning.
Yeah,
You,
with
you,
my
you, and we
mindset,
can talk a
like,
little bit, maybe about that in a bit, but yeah, you really went through a metamorphosis, man. I even saw it from when you first came to me to now. Like you went and even did like a silent retreat, some meditation, and I think you had some mindset demons you had to get over initially.
yeah,
Do you
yeah.
feel the same way?
For sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Especially in the calls, like I always feel like you guys can even see it now that I'm a bit monotone and I'm not very expressive. So I thought I wasn't good for sales because I wasn't someone that was such a great talker or anything. But that's the difference with closing. Like people don't need to like you to buy from you; they just need to respect you. So
And at the end of the day, you have to understand that you're talking to humans. So it doesn't matter the tonality, the pacing, all this sales psychology, that's all great. But at the end of the day, you got to remember that you're a human and you're talking to another human. And
Yeah.
sometimes we get all caught up in our head. But if you just drop everything else and realize that you're just a human talking to another human,
yeah.
easy.
Yeah. So when I started off, I honestly I would scare some people off because I had this huge like afro hair.
have a huge afro.
I was working from my parents' place, which is like an attic. It looked a bit sketchy.
Yeah, bro.
I was taking the calls from Spain, like talking with American clients, so it was always dark. It looked a bit sketch, but even so, like people would still buy from me just because I was like an honest guy. I would talk like a normal person, and they just said, "Oh yeah, I can trust this guy." So
That's fire. That's fire.
it's not about when you try too hard. That's like the worst. But yeah, you can of course do something to improve the situation. Like obviously, when I went to the States, I got a decent haircut and that improved
Got some
a
decent
bit.
lighting on your Zoom. Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. So what were maybe some doubts, bro, that you had before jumping in and trying high ticket sales? Because obviously it is a risk. You're investing in yourself, and there's no base salary, bro. It's all based on what you eat, what you kill. So you have to go out there and you get a commission. So what were some of the maybe doubts you had before coming to me, looking at other things that you had done? But yeah, what were maybe some fears or some doubts that you had before jumping into high ticket sales?
Yeah, so I would say the first one was that I'm not a native English speaker. Like, even though I consider myself bilingual, like, obviously it takes me a bit more time to process the English. And I gotta be more focused on my pronunciation, for example, which takes away from me being focused on my range of expression or just my tonality. So that was the main doubt. And also, like, what helped me go through those doubts a lot was like seeing Jacoby, seeing his history, and like working closely with him, and just seeing how simple it is from the inside. I'm gonna say simple because it's not easy, but it is simple. Like you just gotta learn the process. So yeah, I just like straight up asked him questions on the call. Like he didn't have to do much to close him because he was like, I wanted to do it. Like I do like sales, but I need something that gives me freedom.
Yeah.
And he just explained it, and it's also having that network, you know, like obviously Jacoby knows a lot of people in the space, so as long as you're connecting and you're talking to people and you're getting on interviews and you are practicing with other people's, like you're just absorbing all of that energy, and there's no way you're not gonna believe you're capable of doing it if you're spent all day doing it.
Yeah, yeah. And how much coin are you making now on average per month, would you say?
Right now I'm around 5K, but honestly, with a very flexible offer, I don't even have to take video calls. Like everything is phone calls. I've closed calls from the beach in Morocco. Yeah, I can just like do it from a cafe, anywhere
Yeah.
from the gym.
Pretty chill. How many hours a
Like,
day do you usually work?
I would say like five, five on average.
That's chill. That's chill.
Yeah.
That's chill.
When I really made the shift was when I realized there was also a huge Spanish market that wasn't so tapped into. And I did that after we got back from Bali. I did a silent meditation retreat, which was a huge thing. Like I would recommend that to anyone, because when you stop, when you are able to like let go of needing to get on that offer, needing to make that 10K per month, like when you just don't need it and you are fine and you appreciate what you have, like it will just naturally come to you. So after that, I moved back to Spain, and in a few days, I found literally two offers. One was the offer I'm in right now, which basically it's a small offer. It's not even high ticket, but I have like the best team. Like the people I work with are my best friends right now,
Yeah.
and it gives me a lot of flexibility. And the other offer I landed was actually like the biggest offer in the Spanish high ticket space. I was in there. I was in both of them at the same time, but I had to choose between like selling something which is what I sell right now, that is super ethical, very ethical sale. Like you're actually helping people. People get insane results. Like we literally have a 4.7 out of 5 on Trustpilot.
Wow, wow. That's good, bro. That's good.
Yeah. The
That's-
other offer was a bit more bread,
Yeah.
but honestly, I prefer like having the people and knowing that I'm gonna be here long term, because it's something I can see myself doing for many years. I can work on other projects at the same time, and it
Yeah.
just give me the freedom and actually enjoy it. Like I talk with interesting people, and
That's sick. That's sick. Let me ask you this, bro. Like, what was the main thing that you were like, okay, what was the catalyst? What was the main thing where you're like, okay, I really need to do this, and I really want to like just jump into this whole new journey of high ticket sales? Because you didn't know. You were one of my
Yeah.
first students. He was one of my first students. I didn't have any kind of content out online, anything like specifically about sales, like maybe I do now. And you just took a risk to do this, right? And you trusted me from the very beginning. So what was it that made you like just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna do this? What was that thing for you?
mainly just you, to be honest. Like you seem like a straight up guy, and I honestly just
We had never
wanted
met
to
too,
work.
guys. We never met in person.
Yeah.
You were in. I think you were in Spain or California at the time.
I was just leaving California, like it was my last few weeks. I went back to Spain. We did the cohort for 8 weeks, and then I went back to the States, like 4 months later, and that's
Okay.
where we met in person.
Okay. Okay.
And few days after meeting, one day after meeting, like we jumped. I jumped from a plane together.
Yeah, that's
He got me to jump from a
Yeah,
plane,
yeah,
but
yeah.
then he didn't jump because there was no space or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Whatever, he made an excuse.
But what was the main thing for you? Just like you just me, basically just trusted me, and you just kind of like decided to just take a risk.
It just seemed like a clear path, like all of these.
Because
like,
the reason
agency
I'm
courses.
asking is because a lot of people are out there, bro. A lot of people are out there, and I know this was myself as well. They're scared, man. That's human nature. People are scared to take a risk and jump into something new and to try something that they don't know much about, right? So what would you say to those people that they're looking at maybe pursuing a different option, going against the grain, doing something other than the 9 to 5, but they're scared, they're nervous? What would you tell them? What was the thing for you that made you decide to actually take a risk?
Yeah, it's just having the faith. Like, obviously, you gotta find the right vehicle, but it just seems something solid, like a fair exchange of value.
Yeah.
Like, because all of these like agency courses, e-com courses, like you might get 27 hours of video footage, but I just wanted to have someone working closely with me and showing me like step by step what I need to do, and like it's about absorbing the mindset, because honestly I had enough information, but you need to absorb that mindset and you need to understand. And what I really like about Jacoby, for example, is first thing you have to do when you go into the cohort is just fast for 2 days. Well, it's 3 days now. For like, it seems like, what does it have to do with closing? But it's like, no, you're actually doing like a ritual. You're preparing yourself mentally to go through something which is difficult. Like it takes a lot of effort and it's pretty stressful at first. Like you're overwhelmed with information, finding these offers, but you have a group supporting you. You have the COVID supporting you.
That's
and
great. Yeah.
that's what I saw. Like I was going in it with someone.
Yeah.
Like, cause a lot of these things is like here, you have this information and you kind of have to do it on your own. You can talk to some chatbot or whatever, but
Yeah. So
here
what
it
what
was
what,
like a group.
what was that like? Take us through the process. Okay, you joined the Closer Cohort. You joined me. You went through 8 weeks. Okay, what was that? What was the process like for you? Like, take us through step by step from knowing nothing to where you are now through the program. Like, what was that like? You mentioned the fast. Like, tell people a little bit more about
Yeah.
coaching calls. Like, what was? How did it? What was it like?
Yeah, so when we started, we went through the fast together, and then we started learning about closing, but always with a purpose. Like there was a, a line, a direction that we were following. We always had the end goal in mind, and we were like working also on our mindset. We were designing our life, like doing exercises about what we want in life, what we want in few months, setting goals, dialing on our morning routines. Like there was a lot of closing and learning the frameworks, but more of that was the mindset, and it was practicing. Like we had the live calls, but I was also doing 2, 3, 4 hours of mock calls per day with
With other
my
students?
other students.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, that was the main thing. Just like
Recording
learning
them,
the skill,
watching them back.
having that confidence,
Yeah.
watching them back, and knowing that you're able to do it, like actually developing the skill. Because at first it seems impossible, but when you put 20 hours in, you know you can do it.
Yeah, you have to get on these calls and you have to practice this live. It's a live skill, right? So that's why like courses are good, whatever, some videos here and there. But at the end of the day, with high ticket sales, you have to practice this. You have to be on live calls, and so that's what we did, right? Until you're sharp and dialed. That's great, man. That's great. What would you say to somebody that's someone that's maybe on the fence. Someone that's maybe on the fence. They're looking to maybe try out high ticket sales or do something like different. What would you say to them that they're on the fence? What was the thing for you? Like, what would you say to somebody?
Yeah, I would say go for it. Like, you have literally nothing to lose. You can easily find an offer, easily make some cash, especially if you are like, if you don't have location freedom, if you don't have time freedom, like, it's a big step. Like, just like even going from working 8 hours per day in your full time to taking 8 hours of closing calls
Yeah.
from wherever you want and designing your own schedule is such a big step. Like it gives you so much freedom, and you're probably gonna make a lot more bread doing 8 hours of closing than 8 hours of full-time job.
What does your day normally look like right now? The past few weeks in Cape Town. What time do you wake up? What's the schedule?
I just sent. So I right now do like it's such a small sales cycle that I do the setting, which is just sending automated messages and then taking calls. And I just organize my day and then I put my calls around that. Like if I'm gonna go to the gym at this time or I have a paddle match, I'll just put my calls on the empty spaces. So instead of having your full-time schedule and then adapting your life around it, like you have your life and you adapt your work around your life and what you want to do.
That's sick. What do you think of Cape Town? Is it a cool city?
Yeah, I would say it's the spot. Like, honestly, it hasn't been the best place to save money because there's so much stuff to do and you're hanging out with everybody here is like entrepreneur and it's making like at least 20K a month. So you're not gonna save a lot of money, but it's gonna level you up. Like, for sure, it raises your standard. And that's one thing I like about working with Jacoby too, is that he puts a really high standard. Like it's like, no, you gotta have a 50% closing rate, and that's just how it is. And you're gonna find a way to do it, and you realize that there's a lot of closers. There's a lot of closers, but there's just a few that are willing to do what's needed to succeed.
Yeah.
Properly succeed.
And if you do those few small things, very easy to stand out in this space. It's a very new space.
Yeah.
As more and more people as more and more people move away from traditional education to online education, they understand that they want to learn from people that are actually doing what they want to do in life. People are starting to wake up and see that. They invest into people that are already doing that. So there's a lot of mentors as people come out online with different offers and different things. There's a lot more people that want to be coached. And so there's a lot of opportunity for closers, setters, people in the info product, high ticket sales space in the coming months, 2025, next few years, it's only going to boom, right? And it's cool because we get to work with we get to speak to people every single day like us that want the same things in life: freedom, location, time, financial freedom, right? And want to maybe live the laptop lifestyle, want to be able to travel, work a few hours a day, make some coin online, and go to places like Bali, Capetown, Spain, Brazil, wherever, right? Like, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. And it also forces you, like, I feel like sales in general and closing is like self-improvement on steroids because you're forced to have people like doing a vibe check on you like every single day, and that forces you to be sharp. Like if you're not sharp, if you're not doing the right stuff behind the scenes, like working out, meditation, whatever it is for you, but people are gonna feel it in a call. So it's getting direct feedback from your energy,
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah, you
Say,
have to.
tell us a bit about. So tell. I know you mentioned it quickly, but tell us about the meditation retreat. Because when we were in Bali, you were meditating pretty frequently, and I know that was some things that I spoke about going into the cohort was obviously getting your mindset right, doing the fast, having a vision board, having goals, having a consistent routine. Because all these things, that's really 80% of it. 20% of it is hopping on calls and closing deals. But if your mindset's not right, Nacho saw it. It affects your sales, and it took him a few months to get through that. But you were meditating a lot, and then what was the thing that made you decide you want to go to this retreat? And then explain like what even is a silent retreat? How was it? Like explain a bit about that.
Yeah. So I found out about this retreat
Yeah.
when I met Jacoby because I took Jacoby and another one of the students to Jeff, which you guys might have seen. I took them to a seminar, self-help seminar, and one of the mentors, this millionaire, really cool guy, told us about how he built the life that he wanted by getting completely rid of distractions. And the way he did that was to go to a silent meditation retreat where you just sit for 10 days in silence. You have no phones, no books, nothing to write. Like you do absolutely nothing but just like be with yourself. Sit down for 10 hours and meditate. So the moment I heard about that, I was like, for sure I'm gonna do this. But I was just in that offer, that e-com offer where I started to make some bread. So I had just started there. I couldn't quit it there. So I just decided that whenever I lost that offer, I will do it immediately. And then in Bali, I was working on New York time zone from Bali, which is like a 12-hour difference. So
Yeah.
I wasn't very dialed in. Like honestly, if I gotta give my honest opinion, Bali is not the place to be like locked in because there's
A lot of
so
distractions.
many temptations.
There's a lot of
like,
distractions. Yeah.
So much fun. So yeah, like between the time zone and just Bali, I ended up losing that offer, and the next day after losing it, I just like booked my meditation retreat back in Australia. Started meditating for my last time in Bali, and then I went to Australia and just did my meditation retreat. And there I decided that I did want to be in sales, but I also wanted to sell something that I believed in, that truly helped people and that was ethical. Uh, Honestly, at the start, just do whatever you need. You're just developing a skill, but as you progress, you can choose to work in selling something that you like or something that is like super ethical, whatever. But at first, just learn the skill. It's not advice for beginners, but then there's also a lot of stuff that you can find.
Ideally, that's what you want. You want to find something that you believe in. You believe in the team. You believe in what's being sold, and then the product sells itself. You don't have to do much, right? It closes itself. But for you, I guess when you did that retreat, then how soon after that did you find your dream offer, what you're on now?
It was like almost immediately. Like I was in Australia, came out of the retreat, booked a flight for the next day, went back to Spain, and then the first few days I applied to like 10 offers on LinkedIn, and I got offers for 2 positions within just a few days. So like I think it's the same for everything. Doesn't matter what you're doing, like whatever energy you have, whatever mindset you have, it's what's gonna attract the life that you want and the things that you want. So just by sitting down in silence with myself and just it's like the best thing you can do for yourself. You're literally just giving 10 days to you. So I was just in such a good place, like with such good energy that I was just like attracting things.
It's good,
like
bro. Yeah.
I found my girlfriend, which I met in Bali. My relationship with my family improved a lot.
Sometimes
my
you need to
finances.
sometimes you need to sit by yourself and let those thoughts, let those doubts, let that fear really sink in, so that you understand what it is you need to do. And for me, that I even had a period of time where I sat by myself 3 months. You know this, I think. 3 months
Yeah.
where I sat by myself before I really got into the coaching space. Because I was doing high ticket sales, I was closing, I was traveling the world doing this stuff. I've been doing this stuff since 2020, long time. But I never thought about coaching it. I was always just doing it, making money, traveling, enjoying myself. And then I sat for 3 months and really, really meditated on it and had that time alone. I said, no, this is a skill that a lot of people can learn very, very simply. I don't want to say easy, but very simply. And it was the quickest skill that I found to make coin online after trying all the different ways to make money online for agencies, e-com, crypto, everything that I had tried. So yes, mindset is everything, bro. And that's really what I was trying to put into Closer Cohort, was to help you guys understand, like, all this stuff comes very easy once you have everything in line as far as mindset, self-improvement, and everything that you have is aligned. Then the rest comes easy. Opportunities are endless. There's endless offers out there. There's endless opportunities for business. But you have to get your mind right.
Yeah.
And then attract it.
Yeah, and honestly, for me and for most of us, like, Closer is not like the final destination. It's just a vehicle that allows you to take your life to where you want it to be. Like, even a lot of guys in the cohort, like, they haven't even done much closing, but even learning this skill, there's a guy that has a wedding planning business. He was able to, like, triple his
triple,
income.
yeah, triple his income.
Girls with agencies too, like,
Yeah.
even if this is not what you're gonna be doing, like, learning this skill is gonna make you so much income throughout your life.
Sales is everything, bro. Sales is communication. Sales is confidence. Sales is persuasion. Sales is getting your mission and purpose across. If you want to start any kind of business, all millionaires and billionaires, they start by learning sales, man. You have to learn sales. But yeah, bro, I think that's good for the people. Do you have any, like, last words of advice you want to say to somebody that's maybe potentially watching? Any last words you want to give to?
Yeah, I would say just be willing to outwork anyone. Like, literally, like, it's a competitive space, and you just gotta be on top form. It's like with anything, but it's not so hard to get to the top because most people are not willing to do what is needed. So it's just about having that mindset, having that faith, and just, like, be willing to outwork anyone and do whatever is needed to accomplish. Like, if you just burn the boats and give yourself no other option but to becoming a good closer to help people and to move forward, like, you're gonna make it, but you just gotta be willing to give it your all.
You guys are gonna make it. You guys are gonna make it. You guys got this. Yeah, that's sick, man. Thank you, bro.
Thank you for everything, brother.
Love you, bro.
Same, brother.
Cool.